Your past does not define you. I'm currently reading a book called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it's extremely eye-opening to the views I currently have. It's like, it's very like freeing, like knowing. It's a book on like a certain psychology or certain philosophy. Technically it's a philosophy, but it's technically a psychology. But I haven't finished reading this book yet, but I'm currently reading it, and it's very liberating. Maybe that's the right word. Like, just knowing that the way I think can be put into words. Like, seriously, I'm only on the first chapter, right? I'm almost done with the first chapter, but it's basically about a philosopher and like a young person that's raring to argue with anyone's point. They're just like basically having a debate, right? And the debate is currently about why people can't change. So the young man is arguing with the philosopher that people can't change, and that, you know, everyone's defined by their past, and that the cause of whatever's like, there's a cause and effect. So the effect is basically your present, and the cause is your past. So and the philosopher's obviously arguing against that, you know, your past, the philosopher's saying that our past traumas or past psychic wounds, they call it, is just an excuse to live out your present goals. Essentially meaning that it's like determinism, I think they call it in the book. It's like you're giving that past experience a meaning, and you're just essentially then self-defining yourself. Like, you're giving yourself a definition by putting a meaning to your past. Like, your past has no effect on whether you're successful or a failure. It's about what you did, you know what I'm saying? So like, your past experiences is an objective thing. What matters is, okay, what did he do after? Or like, what's happening? Seriously, your past does not define you. We literally live our lives according to the meaning we give our past experiences. Like, it's literally about the steps that you took after. What did you do moving forward? It's not about, like, you can't sit on your hands and talk about something that happened already. That has nothing to, like, there's always a certain goal in mind at the end of the day, and we all live according to whatever goals we have placed for ourselves presently. We all live according to our present goals. So some people use that past as an excuse almost to live out their present goals. Like, for example, blaming it on trauma. Like, in this book, I kid you not, this guy denies the existence of trauma altogether, bro. That trauma is just psychic wounds, like I said earlier in the video. That trauma is just psychic wounds that, you know, we use as an excuse to live out our present goals. So the present goal could be to to not change. Not exactly to not change, but it's kind of like you create fear, anxiety to fulfill the goal of not being able to change. But there's always something that's deep inside that, like, it's like the root feeling that you're trying to avoid. At the end of the day, you are the one that decides how you're living. So if you don't make your goals to be to overcome your trauma, that brackets it doesn't exist. But if your goal isn't to overcome your trauma or overcome experiences, overcome the cause of experiences, if you don't make those your goals, then you're gonna stay stuck in the same place, constantly blaming your position on something that's happened that isn't, like, you have to really think about it like this. There's literally nothing stopping you, bro. Like, your past is happened, bro. Like, literally, for me, anything in my past that's like bad or like people would call traumatic, I've erased it. I've taken steps forward and I've remembered the steps I've taken. So I don't need the trauma, bro. All I need is the experience from the trauma in terms of what I did to move on from that, what I did to get stronger. You know what I'm saying, bro? Trauma can easily be overcome by, give me a sec. Fucking lying, bro. Wait. Trauma can easily be overcome by shifting your goals, shifting the viewpoint. To be honest, change can only start happening once you start knowing, you know what I'm saying? You can't learn through someone else's experiences realistically. You have to know for yourself. Because at the end of the day, if I tell you something and it has given you some epiphany or you've realized something, bro, it's not gonna stick because you haven't lived through the experience to know that you shouldn't, be on this path or you shouldn't do this thing. That's why I said in my last video that, what people tell you, as useful as it might be sometimes, that you should still, try things out for yourself and live through your own experiences. Because that's when you know for yourself. That's why some people, they don't just believe in God, they know God. Because they've had experiences with God. There's nothing that can take them away from what they have, literally. Like me, for example, I've had a lot of like spiritual battles, let me say. And I've prayed and my prayers have literally been answered by God because I've had faith in God. So that's proof to me that God is real. All my experiences, I've literally been like in torment, bro. Literally in torment. And, and I was saved from that torment. That's how I know God. God showed me the source of my problems. I cut out the source and everything, all those problems stopped. This is how I know that God is real. This is why I don't just believe, I know. Moral of the story, trauma does not exist. Your past is a lie. In fact, I think that's when I started to change to try and fix up my life. I started to view my in the present moment, I created a state of having no past and having no limits. Like, my past no longer exists and I have no limits. Everything everyone has said about me that is a limitation is a lie. That's how I started living, and I started to break free from all the problems I had that I thought would never go away. Feeling maybe having no control of certain social situations, I'd say. Maybe communication problems and things like that. Like, to be fair, like, I don't really remember all the problems I had, all the small problems, because I've literally disassociated myself with them. So, like, it's as if, like, it never happened to me. I only remember these things when I see it in other people. That, like, oh, I was like this once. That's the only time I ever remember some of the things I used to, struggle with. But, I've shattered my past limitations and become a new being with higher limits to break, higher limits to reach. It's corny, but you have to move like you're in an anime or something, bro. Cause you know them guys in anime, they always talk about pushing past your limits and all that. Yeah, you gotta do it, man. Honestly. All those people in anime, they have trauma. And what do they do with that trauma? They discard that trauma as if it never happened, bro. Or in fact, they even use that as fuel to push past their limits. But obviously this is real life. So to wrap it up as a summary, trauma does not exist. I know that's very, very harsh, and like, a lot of people wouldn't be happy to hear something like that, but it should be seen as more of a positive thing, that not to belittle your experience, but more of a thing where you can be free from it. You can move forward from that. Don't see it as, oh, he's saying that what happened to me is insignificant. He thinks he's better than me, or he doesn't even know what I've been through. Don't see it as that. See it as, you don't need that trauma. You literally don't need it. It's just holding you back. Think about what steps to take now to move forward from that. What to do to be better. Literally forget your past. Forget your limits that ever existed. And pursue what you want. Shift your focus, man. That's all there is to it, man. But yeah, as I read the book, I will continue to share my thoughts and hopefully be able to relay my thoughts better. Because sometimes I think I'm still a bit messy. Because thoughts just come in and out of my head, bro. Yeah. Good morning, I guess. I think it's like 3:30 right now. Just been reading, fam. Just been reading, bro. Yeah, peace, man. I know you probably can't see me right now. That wasn't supposed to be a joke. I was just like saying. But I just wanted to add before I end this video that, like, I feel so strongly about this type of thing because I think this is the base people need to overcome before they can make change in their life or to themselves. Change in your life comes from changing yourself first, and changing yourself comes from knowing. And to know, you have to overcome your past. You have to overcome your past beliefs. So stop caring about the past and care about what you can do now. Focus on the present. There's seriously nothing you can do to change what happened, what has happened. Stop thinking about changing the past and think about what you can do now, what you can change now. Focus on what you can change right now, this second, to create a better future past. Shout out to Taekwondo. That's where I learned that. That's when I was enlightened. I don't know if you probably know him. He's a very big influence. Well, not that big, but you know, he's bigger than a few years ago. But that's one line he said in one video that stuck with me. That focus on creating a better future past. If you don't know, please don't let that fly over your head, like. But yeah, it's just what I wanted to say quickly to wrap up. Again, another wrap up for the wrap up. And please, I mean, you can be offended by some of the stuff I said about the trauma, but at the end of the day, the people that win in life have conquered their past and conquered their trauma, in quotes. Your trauma is literally a psychic wound, bro. Just move on, bro. Seriously. Anyway.